This crap needs to stop. First off. Zach Taylor's already said, T's going to be a member of this team this year. Okay? This is not changing. He is going to be a Bengal this season. We're not trading him. We're not getting rid of him. We're not doing any of that crap. And also, a little side note here, the last team we'd ever trade him to would be the Chiefs. But then the Bills would be like a solid number 2 or 3. Okay? Okay, no. It would actually be the worst. Last team we trade him to is the Chiefs, then the Ravens, then probably the Steelers, then the Brownies, and then the Bills. But nonetheless, though, we're not going to trade him to a team that we are currently competing with, to go to the playoffs. Like, there's no reason for us to ever trade him to the Buffalo Bills. So, now, if another team offered this offer right here, yeah, I think we would say yes instantly. There wouldn't even be a question. If another team in the NFC, or let's say an AFC team that we really just don't care about, like the Jaguars or the Jets or one of those teams, yeah, I think we would say yes instantly. You give us a first round pick, correct. 5th round pick, correct. 2nd round pick, I'm cool with that. FanDuel, like this trade right here, I'm actually kind of okay with. And ironically enough, according to overthecap.com, they claim that the winner of this trade would be the Buffalo Bills. And listen, I'm been known to be a very much of a homer for the Bengals here, and I will always say, 100% Bengals. T. Higgins, I love him, and I never want to lose him, and I'm going to continue to say that. But even I have to kind of admit, this is not a bad trade offer. You get a 28th overall pick, which is, let's be honest, the equivalent of not second round yet, but it's getting close to almost a 2nd round pick. You get a 5th this year, and then you get a 2nd next year. Maybe they add in another pick, like if they added in, I don't know. So right here, this is saying that this trade is worth 17. Actually, wait. Yeah, because these are what the average money is, average per year for money for the what's it called? The average per year for the salaries. Which again, like I said, that's why I don't like this website too much. But again, I don't like this website when it comes to the trade calculator, because the way they do this is based on a point system, which isn't bad, but it's only a point system for the draft picks, and it's not a point system for this. So, for example, I added in Tre'Davious White, who is not currently on their team anymore, which she shouldn't be here. I don't know why he's still here if he got released. But as you can see, Bengals would win that trade. So, I don't think it's a bad trade. A 1st, a 5th, and a 2nd for him. But again, it's a bad trade because we would never trade him to the Buffalo Bills. That's why it would be a bad trade. But let's just entertain this, because this is probably the last T. Higgins type crap I'm going to entertain. He's not leaving. He's not going to get traded. Anyone who says he's going to get traded is fake news. He's not going to. Zach Taylor's already came out and said it's not happening. So, and right here, look, even the PFF.com says we would not accept this trade. Yeah, I don't think they would ever do this trade. This is a lot for T. Higgins. It's not a lot for T. Higgins. Okay, I'm trying not to be a homer here, okay? Because I'm the guy who said 2 first-round picks. Like, 2 first-round picks, and now we're talking, right? But if I'm being as realistic as possible and not being outlandish with my overdoing it for T. Higgins here, this is not a bad offer. You get a 1st, you get a 2nd, and then you get a 5th, right? So, especially for what? They just freaking Bills just trade away Stephon Diggs for pennies on the dollar. But let's see how this would go if we did make this trade, which, again, like I said, we're not going to. Alright, 18th overall pick. You know what, I keep going with Byron Murphy, and I still do like Byron Murphy. I think he's the best in the class here. But let's go with Johnny Newton this time. I'll go with Johnny Newton. Actually, Johnny Newton. Jason. I am so used to J.C. Latham not being on the board when I pick here, because every mock I've done recently, he's always off the board by this pick. Give me J.C. Latham. Oh, I can finally go offensive tackle again. Feels good. All right, well, the fact that we went ahead and got rid of a wide receiver in T. Higgins. We had to replace him. Mitchell's fluidity at his size makes him a tough matchup, especially in the red zone. The biggest area of concern I have with him is I wish he would attack the ball more when it's in the air. If he improves to the category, he's a fringe wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 abilities. Ooh, okay, 6'4", 196. He just has to be more aggressive with the ball. I don't think that's that bad. Body language effort can be very different when he's a primary receiver versus when he's not. And he wouldn't, again, listen, he wouldn't be a primary receiver. He would be a second to Jamar Chase. He could do a better job attacking the ball in the air. Release speed is fast, but some falls and wasted steps. Again, just technique. Troy Walters could teach him how to get this done. Again, like I said, this guy doesn't seem like a project at all. He seems like if Troy Walters does his job correctly, he'll be a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and he could develop with Joe Burrow to a wide receiver 1. He's 6'4", 196 pounds. I really do like him. Problem is, though, I want to go corner. And it's either between one of these two guys. Cooper DeJean, the problem with him is he has injuries. Injury concerns for Cooper DeJean. That would be the biggest problem here. He's a great corner, though, an amazing corner. Change of direction and acceleration when he's flipping. His hips can be slow of his size. Only 199 snaps in press, less than 25% over the past 2 seasons. Yeah. And then we have Kool-Aid McKinstry, which I really do like this guy. I think he could be absolutely one of the top corners in this draft. Not the best corner. I think Teron Arnold and Quinton Mitchell is probably the best. But he's definitely up there. He can make plays in defense scheme. It's type of player you want to draft. Great in run defense. Great coverage guy. Exactly what we need here. So, great balance. Yeah, I'm going to take him. I'm going to... See, Cooper DeJean, though, it's hard to miss out on Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean is good. And again, he does have some injury concerns, but he is so freaking good. Yeah, that's my only problem right now with this is Cooper DeJean is the better pick. Like, meaning best player available pick is Cooper DeJean. But McKinstry is the better, I feel like going to be the better player overall-wise. Cooper DeJean, though, is probably going to end up moving to safety. That's another thing. Cooper DeJean, I feel like, will eventually move to safety, which we don't need a safety, right? We need a corner. I'm going McKinstry because I think that Cooper DeJean will eventually become a safety. He'll be like Harrison Smith. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry will be, in all intents and purposes, he's going to be a cornerback, and he'd be a really great corner for us. So that's kind of how I look at it. Ooh, do I take Ja'Tavion Sanders or Kingsley? Could be really good. He played right tackle, left tackle. We did take J.C. Latham, so he'd be the immediate backup. Honestly, in this situation, ultimately, wait, who did I take so far? I took Kool-Aid, and I took J.C. Latham. Okay. Let's see wide receivers. I'm going to look at all the options here. Ultimately, Purcell won't intimidate defenders on the line of scrimmage, but he will once the ball is snapped. He is a ready-made slot receiver who can contribute early in his career. So he's a really good slot receiver. That's interesting, because that would be where Chuck Sizzle would have to be. But think about it this way. You put him in the slot. Outside is going to be Yoshi. Jamar Chase on the other side. That could be an option. Roman Wilson. There isn't any analysis about him, which I find kind of weird. Because, I mean, I feel like he's definitely a good player. Burton brings a fury approach to the position as long as his size doesn't cause him push around. He has elite quickness to win against press and off coverage at the next level as a flanker or slot. Yeah, so 6 foot tall. I'm not against the idea there. I mean, 6 foot tall, I don't really love as a wide receiver, but it's not that big of a deal. Coleman is a top tier athlete for the position. Explosive, that's a project. I'm not even going there. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. Ja'Tavion Sanders or Kingsley at this pick. I know it's weird to do, like, first and second round tackle, but come on, man. We need depth. We need depth, and we need as much good talent as possible in this line. See, the Ja'Tavion Sanders, I really do like him. He is a tier 1 athlete for the tight end position he's making. See, that's the thing. He needs more of a mean streak consistently as a blocker. Yeah, that's the one thing I've heard bad about him is the blocking. He's not really a blocker, and we use our tight ends as blockers. That's our main thing here. Now, keep in mind, we also went ahead and just got Mike, and Mike played, I think, 70% of the snaps last year in the slot. So he's also a slot guy. He's a slot tight end. Okay. This is, I've never been so indecisive here. I think I'm just going to go tight end. I'm going to go Ja'Tavion Sanders. I want to go wide receiver, but I don't know if I'm not falling in love with any of these guys. Ricky's the only guy I'm falling in love with, but he's more of a slot guy, which no problem at all. Put him in the slot, but if we're going to replace T. Higgins, I mean, now you're just going to say Yoshi's the outside guy. I don't have a problem with that, but... And then Kingsley, I think he has a lot of upside. All right, I'm going to go with Ja'Tavion Sanders. That might be a mistake. Maybe I should go wide receiver there. But I think he's best player there. 6'1", 208 wide receiver from UCF. Okay. Johnny Wilson still on the board. What's the chance of not being treated enough? 6'7", 237, bro. And he had some frustrating drops, but there's so much to like. Okay. I'm taking him. We're just gonna make ourselves a super team. Okay. I'm taking him there. I am taking him there. 100%. That wasn't even a question. That wasn't even a question in my mind, bro. I don't care what anyone says. I took Ja'Tavion Sanders. I'm not going to go with him. What the absolute fluff, bro. Man, 6'7". And I'm not... Okay, listen. You don't draft a player just based on their height. Okay? You don't do that. But he did seem like he had some really good intangibles, and he was more of a project. But 6'7", bro. Imagine a goal line look to that guy. Imagine a goal line look to that guy. That is beautiful. I should have went Frank Gore. I should have went with a running back last pick. I should have went with Frank Gore here. All right. Chew. I kind of do. What pick am I? Okay. I'm gonna go with Michigan tackle here. Especially if we trade away, T. I want to get some other options in here too. Alright, so I'm not really against this draft. I like this draft. I think this was a good draft. I would want to get a linebacker, but I didn't really find a linebacker fall to me that I really like that much. But A-, I got a B+ draft altogether wise. The only one they didn't like was Jake Nugent. Everyone else, they liked my picks. But we got ourselves a tackle, right tackle, a corner, a tight end, a wide receiver, a guard, a tight end, defensive lineman, a center. We got a halfback, a tackle, wide receiver, tight end, and defensive lineman. I don't think that's bad. Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. Wait. Oh, yeah. You drafted Coy McKinstry, draft Cooper Jean. Oh, now they have like a little recommendation. I think Cooper Jean's eventually going to become a safety. That's why I kind of want to go Coy McKinstry a little bit better. But that's just my personal opinion.